Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Taking a quick look here at Solana once more, helping understand best practice, big picture, and we're going to take a quick peek. I get a lot of questions about Elliot wave, figuring I'd kind of show and answer that and how that pertains to different time frames. I kind of like to use it on the 4 hour myself, but we'll talk about that and much more. And if you are new to the channel, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining me. Obviously, if you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link in the description below. You can register for our trading academy, community, and signals. Really awesome experience. Oh, very last thing too, of course. Have some awesome partnerships here with Bybit, BitGet, and of course Mexi Global. They all offer healthy trading competitions. All you got to use my link and some significant deposit rewards as well. In fact, we have an airdrop for Bybit right now. If you register with that link this month, you get a free airdrop for just depositing $100. Really easy. So check that out. All right, so here's the thing with Solana. Fairly range bound between these two key level supports and resistances. Right here between 0.5 and 0.236, coincidentally some really strong Fibonacci retracement levels. 1987 upwards of just a round number, $22. Okay, so in that range, what I want to highlight is, of course, that's the most recent low. That is essentially where the support level comes from. And this other one is actually a previous high, or correction, previous low that is currently the new high. In other words, the price action should have difficulty getting back above $22 in the near future, just based on previous, again, support and resistance levels. But we're stuck in that range. Breakdown could happen, again, based on Elliot wave. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, and it comes upwards here, and essentially we're starting to see that ABCD pattern as well. So typically with Elliot wave, if you're not familiar, there's 5 increases followed by 3 decreases, or just, 5 printings in each direction, followed by a third printing in the opposite direction. Okay, so I'll explain more about that here in a minute. But on the daily, when we're looking at the larger time frame here, we can kind of see we're still stuck under 50 on the RSI. We're having difficulty in getting back above that. Even though there is a little bit more money flowing back into the market, it's still not enough to get that to break through that resistance level. MACD is fairly drawing dead as well, so not a lot of telltale signs on the daily. We kind of got this weird little stuck sideways moment, okay? That happens a lot. Bitcoin is kind of at that point too. We're 20 days into this range-bound activity between 27,000, 29,000. So check out my Bitcoin video. I make those daily if you're familiar with that or just unfamiliar with what I was talking about. But what I want to touch on here is on the 4 hour, the Elliot wave, just kind of give you perspective here so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's this pattern here it's pretty straightforward. We go to a 1, down to a 2, up to a 3, down to a 4, and then up to a 5. That's essentially the max. So the first wave is essentially complete. And then of course you got this 1, 2, 3, essentially ABC pattern. What this is telling us here is that there's a strong likelihood that 1.414 Fibonacci at 12.68 is a likelihood for Solana if the price were to retrace. I think this is mostly based on Bitcoin correcting itself, but it makes sense. This wave should happen. I wouldn't say it's going to be that dramatic, but it very well should occur somewhere in that range between current price point and that low of 1268. I know it's not a lot of specifics, but it's with trading you truly never know. You want to base things on Fibonacci retracement levels, and at this point it just feels like we're going to slowly bleed out or continue lower based on the overall sense of things being mostly bearish, or at least the signs are there, and Bitcoin's going to correct itself. It's almost an inevitability. Be very surprised if we can break through 30,000 with Bitcoin. We've been shorting Bitcoin and taking some healthy profits, so be sure to check that out again with my signals. Also, future reference, we're going to bring day trade signals to the community here in a couple weeks as well. Really awesome add-on feature. It's going to be really cool. Be sure to check that out in your own time. So when it comes to Solana, fairly straightforward here in the sense of Solana being, well, just one of those things where overall, the 4 hour and the daily are looking mostly bearish, right? We can also see on the hourly as well that we are starting to see some signs here, okay? Now, in other words, we've got some parallel highs here, followed by some higher lows and lower highs. It kind of jumps around a lot. So when you have those kind of signs, it's really not something you can act on. So in truth, there's not a lot of confirmation you could say here. We are overextended to the downside here recently. Bitcoin printed the same numbers, and we're up to a 7 or an 8. So it makes sense for the price to continue a little bit lower here. Furthermore, if we're on the cloud, this is something that really kind of seals the deal for me. We have all 3 green lights here for a short position. Not saying you should necessarily open one, but if you have one open, keep it open. We have a short open for Ethereum and Bitcoin right now. We took nice profits on both, roughly about 60%. So good thing about that is this communicates very similarly, because Solana is not an outlier by any stretch. It's aligned itself mostly with Bitcoin. So we can see here, we got the lagging spans free and clear of the price action, conversion lines below the baseline, and we're well below the cloud here. So until we can break back above, just say we get like a closure of today on the daily of like just say $21, we're not going to really have a position or a leg to stand on to continue that any further. Take a look at the 15. We can kind of quickly confirm here that CC Golden is non-existent. It gave us a sell signal up here, and that's pretty much it. So the bottom line here is in this kind of trend right now that we're seeing, there's no confirmation for a long position. Okay, and again, CC Golden is one of my indicators that I created. It's on our website homepage if you want to learn more about that. But it's a really cool indicator to kind of give you long position entries for good trends. Now we're in a descending trend here, and there's not a lot of signs here. All we have is a short signal back at roughly about $21.5. Okay, so that being said, no confirmation whatsoever for a long position, so I would hold off on taking longs for the moment until we get that confirmation that we're on the right side of tracks, and we're a little ways from that. So that's kind of the state of the nation here for Solana. Nothing too crazy, but generally speaking, one of those situations where it's absolutely looking like it wants to bleed out lower based on the overall trend of the market, because I feel like Bitcoin's going to correct itself even further, and we should see that natural correction from Solana too. I hope this was helpful for you. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.